Hello everyone, Ben here, and welcome to another election discussion for the Senate, and we're going to be talking about Missouri and the seat currently held by Claire McCaskill. And I really don't know what to say about this seat, because Missouri is a very strange state, and doing all my math, it seems to indicate that this seat is very much a swing seat, as in the state doesn't know what it wants to do at the Senate level. There's no clear long-term trend. There's not even a clear short-term trend. It just bounces back and forth, even in years where the nation votes one way, it'll vote the other way. In years where it votes one way overwhelmingly, it could vote the other way. Some years it votes the same as the nation. Other years it's completely off. It's just a very strange state, it seems. For example, in 2012, it voted very much like the rest of the nation, except it gave Claire McCaskill an extra point than the rest of the nation gave to Democrats. In 2006, Republicans actually outperformed his national peers in the Republican Party by 6 points, even though he lost. In 2000, it voted very similar to the nation as a whole, but it gave Democrat 3 extra points than national Democrats. 2002 was a special election held to take over to see who would take the seat, and Republicans won the seat despite the Democrat in the state outperforming their peers by 3 points. In 94, the Republican outperformed his peers nationally by 10 points, and in 1988, he did so by 21 points. I suspect this was because he was a very popular incumbent. 1982, it voted almost exactly like the nation as a whole. So, Missouri was for a long time considered a swing state, and it was considered a bellwether. Whoever won Missouri would win the election. I think Barack Obama was the first person to buck this trend of the election winner carrying Missouri. And the theory was for a long time that Illinois pulled the state to the left politically, and Kansas pulled the state to the right. So Missouri influenced its politics in a more liberal way, and Kansas in a more conservative way. And perhaps that's still true at the state level, but at the national level, it is very much a Republican state. It's hardly even considered a swing state anymore. And also apologies if it sounds like I'm sniffling and sounds sick. It's partially because I'm starting to come down with a cold. Also been getting some really good comments from my videos, which I greatly appreciate. And some great discussion in the comments, regardless of what our opinions are. Anyway, so it's really hard to tell what Missouri is going to do. So I'm going to say it's going to vote, I don't know, with the government shutdown. I don't know how that's going to affect it, but I agree with a lot of political theorists that the shutdown will hurt Democrats. Whether or not the effect of it will last until the election is yet to be seen. but I thought that it would definitely hurt Democrats at a national level, especially in flyover states like Missouri, Michigan, Minnesota, those places. In the coastal states, it'll probably help the Democrats, like California, New York, those types of places. I'm going to harp on this a lot. It's an urban-rural divide. Rural places are starting to really, really, really hate Democrats. For the most part, there are a few exceptions, obviously. Vermont would be a good example. So I'm not exactly sure how to classify Missouri. Um, it's definitely a toss-up, as polling indicates. The two most recent sets of polls, which shows a hypothetical between McCaskill and Hawley, um, indicate that it's a toss-up. One shows Hawley winning, one shows McCaskill winning, but almost every other poll for the hypothetical for the election shows Hawley winning from a moderate to significant margin. But don't take too much stock in it just yet. We haven't really seen the campaign ramp up. Oh boy. So this is the one I don't really know what to say about it. I'm gonna say it's gonna vote a little more Republican than the nation as a whole, just because of its history as a swing state when it comes to both national and state level elections. I think it's going to bounce back because the trend has shown that, if there is one trend, it bounces every election by sometimes significant margins. There was only one set of elections where the margin compared to the nation didn't change. But, I'm going to give it to the Republicans by a very small amount. I'm going to say it's going to vote, maybe 6 points more Republican than the nation as a whole. 6 or 7, not entirely positive which. And that will just barely carry it for the Republicans. For a lot of factors, a lot of the people who are going to be voting in this election are going to be in Vermont, New York, states that are controlled by Democrats and almost always go to the Democrat. Or in this case, Democrat-leaning incumbents or independents. Massachusetts, of course, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, of course, New Mexico, California, Washington. Those states are going to give massive margins to Democrats, whereas, not a lot of voters live in states that are, GOP controlled. So the Republicans could gain seats despite losing, on the nation at the national level by 12 or 13%, just because of where that extra percent is. That's the weird nature of the Senate. Now, as for I've heard that the seat should be allocated in an election based off of the national popular. I have heard somebody say that Senate elections should be based off a national popular vote. I think somebody said, why shouldn't we get a vote in Texas? And it's just so weird because this is supposed to give local representation. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that whole crazy argument. But I'm going to go ahead and say Missouri is going to lean towards the Republicans, just because it is this weird swingy state. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day, and I'll try and heal up soon.